Joining the Sports Bash every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, as he joins us live from the ballpark, actually, as the Phillies split 2-2 over the weekend. And, of course, we know that the Eagles are reporting. Check out Mike McGarry's 5 questions for the Philadelphia Eagles season over at the Press of Atlantic City. And he joins us right now here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, how you doing today?
Hey, Josh, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, but I got to start with the Phillies, honestly, because even though the Eagles made the big signing of Steven Nelson, this Phillies team, Mike, is frankly a little confusing because on one hand, it's like, all right, we know that they are in contention, and splitting with the Braves feels like a consolation prize, not really an actual win for this team.
Yeah, it seems like day to day how you feel about them changes, right? I mean, Saturday night they get blown out by the Braves, and you're like, they might never win another game again. And then yesterday, Aaron Nola goes to the mound, comes within 1 out of throwing a shutout. And you're like, well, maybe they can get to the playoffs. So they are kind of a schizophrenic group, and this is a big stretch here, obviously leading to the trade deadline on Friday. The Mets have 5 games with the Braves, including a doubleheader today, and the Phillies with 4 with the Nationals here at Citizens Bank leading into Friday. So this is a big stretch here, and we'll see how it unfolds over the next couple of days.
Talk about how important it was for this team to get that performance out of Nola, a guy who's had a up and down year this year. This guy was the opening day starter. This guy is supposed to be one of your best pitchers. He'd been pitching rough, and then yesterday he finally came out there, was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, one of the things Dave Dombrowski said on Saturday, right, was that the Phillies were going to be buyers and not sellers. But what he also said, and I thought was pretty key, was he said one way for the Phillies to make the postseason for the first time since 2011 is for the players on the current roster to play better the final 60-something games of the season. And one of the guys he named in specifically was he thought Aaron Nola could pitch better than he had the first half of the season. Now, it's an honest question to say, could Nola have pitched much worse? Before yesterday, in his 5 starts, he had an ERA of close to 8. Yesterday was the Aaron Nola that we kind of expect to see, and the Aaron Nola that the Phillies are going to have to get over the final 10 starts of the season if they are to make the postseason. And I think that's a great point. Every time this week we're focused on what are the Phillies, what are they looking for? A starter in the back end of the rotation, bullpen help. Well, how about their top players, the Aaron Nolas, the Bryce Harpers, the JT Realmutos, the Zach Wheelers? How about they get hot at the same time and spur this team on? That you probably got a better chance of that happening and making the postseason of bringing in a guy who's going to, change the team chemistry and get you to the postseason.
Mike, with days to go before the deadline, we've already seen some moves being made. And Dombrowski has said, like you said, multiple times. He said it Saturday. He said it in multiple media outlets. We're going to be buyers. So what do you think the holdup is? Is he letting the market play out? Are they letting the prices come down for some of these guys? What do you think is going on here with the Phillies?
Well, I think they're searching for the right fit, right? He said they were going to be buyers, but how big of buyers they are remains to be seen. He also said they're not going to trade elite prospects for a rental. And I know that, the next question out of people's mind, out of mouths, is do the Phillies even have any elite prospects to trade? But I think he's looking for back end of the rotation help. I think he's looking for bullpen help. I think they're looking for the type of pitcher, starting pitcher, that the Mets picked up in Rich Hill. The Mets got Rich Hill from Tampa. He throws 5 innings yesterday, gives up 3 runs, gives them a chance to win the game. The Mets win the game. You look at the back end of the Phillies rotation. Vinny Velasquez gets shelled on Saturday night. Matt Moore gets shelled on Thursday. The Phillies never really had a shot in either game. So I think what the Phillies are looking for is starting pitching that can give them a chance to win every night at the back end of that rotation. And also, obviously, they're looking for bullpen help because Ranger Suarez has been impressive, but I'm not entirely sold on him saving a big game in September.
Mike McGarry joining us here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN at AC Press McGarry on Twitter. Check out all of his work over at thepressofAtlanticCity.com, including his 5 questions for the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike, before we get to the Eagles, one more on the Phillies I wanted to ask you. When you look at this team, how many moves is enough moves? Like if they make, let's say they add a bullpen arm but don't add anything else, or if they add something that's not a bullpen arm, or what combination of things do you think would satisfy you as looking at this team, observing and say if they get at least this, they can go places?
They have to upgrade the back end of that starting rotation without a doubt. I think they cannot rely on Matt Moore and Vinny Velasquez the rest of the season. So they have to upgrade the back end of the starting rotation. At least acquire somebody who gives them a chance to win the game, who's not down 7-2 in the third inning. I think it's a big start for Spencer Howard tonight. He pitched 3 shutout innings against the Yankees in his last outing. Let's see what he does against Washington. Is he a guy who can fit in and give you 4, maybe, God forbid, 5 innings as the season progresses? But the back end of the starting rotation definitely needs to be upgraded. And then I think you need some bullpen help. If you could get an established closer, that would be great. But if not, if you could get some bullpen help to kind of help you through the 7th and 8th innings and maybe occasionally fill in that 9th inning, I also think that's key for the Phillies, too.
Mike, let's flip it over to the Eagles because the Eagles signed Steven Nelson over the weekend, and that leans right into one of your questions in your 5 questions for the Eagles season over at the Press of Atlantic City. What kind of defense will the Eagles run? And I don't know if Steven Nelson's signing really even answers that question because Jonathan Gannon's never been a defensive coordinator. We're assuming he's taking things from Zimmer and Eberflus and all the guys he's worked with. But even Gannon himself said that he doesn't really have a scheme. He's going to do things maybe a little different than we expect. So, adding Steven Nelson is necessary. But your question, what kind of defense will the Eagles run? I don't know if we'll even have an answer until week 1 of the season.
Yeah, what Coach Gannon said in his Zoom was he's going to look at the talent that he has and put them in the best possible positions to succeed, which, sounds like a sound strategy to me. I think we've all been frustrated over the past couple of years with the Jim Schwartz defense, kind of being conservative, not applying a lot of pressure to the quarterbacks. You got a feeling, considering the people that Gannon learned under, that will change. And I think it's kind of imperative. I think if you play defense in the NFL today, obviously it's about keeping teams out of the end zone. But what is it really about? You're not going to shut teams out in the NFL on a week-in and week-out basis. You're not winning the games 3-0 or 7-0. So what do you want out of your defense? You want a defense that pressures quarterbacks, and you want a defense that forces turnovers. The Eagles did not do it last year at all. If Gannon can put his scheme in that results in more interceptions, fumble recoveries, big plays on defense, and results in more pressure on the quarterback, I think that's the way to go. And I think most Eagles fans would welcome that after kind of watching, the Jim Schwartz defenses of the past couple of years.
Mike, how much it also is the fact that this team added Nelson, added the linebacker Wilson, added Anthony Harris to the secondary? How much of this team also getting better defensively is not just the change of the coordinator, but also the type of players that they are bringing in?
Yeah, they added Kerrigan also, too, right? He's another guy they added, who might be addition by a double addition there, rather, because he used to kill the Eagles or torture the Eagles when he played for Washington, right? So that's another big addition there. I think, again, I think they've added some players who can play that aggressive style of defense. And I think in today's NFL, it's imperative that you take the ball away, give your offense some short fields, score some touchdowns yourself, really make those momentum-changing plays, either by sacking the quarterback or forcing the quarterback into some turnovers. And the Eagles just did not do that nearly enough last year. And I think that a more aggressive defense is what Gannon has done in the past, in the places he's done in the past, and the people he's worked under. That's the way they've kind of leaned.
On the offensive side, one of your questions was about the left tackle, and I'll expand it, Mike. Whether it's Mailata or Andre Dillard, either guy, at the end of the day, if the other 4 guys are healthy and available, I got to think this team is going to play better at some level, right? At some level, this team has got to be better if Kelsey, Brooks, and Johnson are playing the majority of the season, unlike last year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big key. But one of the reasons why I think, I know some people are wildly optimistic about the Eagles, why I come down in the 6 to 7 win range this year is, and I agree with you 100%, if that offensive line is healthy, they're going to be a better football team than they were last year when they won 4 games. But what makes us think that offensive line is going to be healthy? When's the last time that offensive line was completely healthy through a season? So, it hasn't happened in a couple of years. I have no reason to expect it to happen this year. A lot of those players are a year older, a year of wear and tear on the body. So that's a great point. If that offensive line, if those 5-6 guys carry through the season and, they get through and play all 17 games, yeah, it's obviously a big bonus for the Eagles, but I have no faith, based on past performance, that that's going to happen this season or reason to believe that. So that's why when I kind of look at the Eagles this year, I kind of look at a 6 or 7 win team, and that's one of the big reasons why.
I know most people assume that Mailata is the leading candidate for left tackle, but do you have any faith that Dillard can steal that job from him?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Coach Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach, said it was going to be in his Zoom session in June, said it was going to be an open competition. I have no reason why it wouldn't believe it would be an open competition. And I think the big factor that tells you it's going to be an open competition is Dillard's a first-round draft pick, right? So they're going to give Dillard every opportunity to sort of make the team or make that spot. I mean, that's just the way it is with first-round draft picks. They're given every opportunity and sometimes multiple opportunities to sink or swim, and Dillard as a first-round draft pick is going to get that chance in training camp this year.
Mike McGarry, Press of Atlantic City, joining us here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Check out his full 5 questions for the Philadelphia Eagles as training camp begins over at pressofatlanticcity.com. Mike, before I let you go, I want to know from you, who makes a deal first this week? Do the Flyers make another trade? Do the Phillies finally make a trade? Or does Daryl Morey shake up the NBA draft?
I think it's going to be the Phillies. I don't think, the Flyers have done a lot over the past couple of days, so they might take a break for a while. Daryl Morey, I believe any moves with Morey or Ben Simmons specifically will come after the draft. I mean, there's some talk that the Sixers might trade the number 28 pick, but as far as moves that kind of impact the team the best, I think it's going to be the Phillies. The trade deadline is Friday. You would kind of expect them to do something in the next couple of days and get, like we talked about, some reinforcements here in pitching to bolster their chances of, ending that postseason drought and getting the playoffs for the first time since 2011.
There he is, AC Press McGarry on Twitter. He's up at the ballpark for the Phillies, starting their series with the Nats tonight. And, of course, he joins us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the Sports Bash. Mike, enjoy the game tonight, and we believe Mike Gill will be back by Wednesday because his team is currently in the semifinals.
All right. Well, we wish the best to Gill and the team he's coaching up there, and I'll see you guys down the road.